Hello everyone, welcome to Casually Coloring. I'm glad you're here. My name is Crystal. Today we're going to be going through part 2 of my coloring book collection and all of my completed pages. So let's see, to start off with, we have Maria Trolle. These are the books that I have from her and the completed pages. I won't be showing anything with a star next to it. I'm not going to be showing because it's a completed page, but I haven't posted it yet. And there may be a color along tied to it that may get released later, etc. So I want to keep those out, but I at least want to show the books in physical form. Maria Trolle Kanoko Egusa. I have Rhapsody the Forest, but it's Garden of Fairy Tale Animals in English. Menuet de Bagnoles, and I probably butchered the heck out of that. Kingdom of Curious Creatures for the English version. And I have Symphony of Cute Animals, but I don't have any pages completed in that. And we're going to be doing Kerby Rosanes as well. So I have Anamorphia, Imagimorphia, Mythomorphia, Geomorphia. I do have a page completed in that, but I haven't posted it yet. Alien Worlds, Mythic World, and Fragile World. So those are the books we're going to be doing today. And get this out of the way. So we'll start off with Nightfall from Maria Trolle. I always tend to do the title pages. And again, if you've watched the first one, you notice I never put my name. I should really go back and do that. I think the background was Arteza watercolor. Quite a messy one at that. So this is definitely an earlier works. And polychromos for the main illustration. Another one of these green and purple palettes that are growing on me a lot. And of course, this is stuck, right? Nope. Here is another one. This one was Arteza watercolors for the background. Another earlier works, I can tell. Always by, I don't know how much depth or how many layers or in the colors. But yeah, I kind of want to come back and redo this one, but I always fight with myself about that. Redoing one and then leaving it for a time capsule. But I think maybe I'll just leave it as a time. I have so many of her books, I would rather probably just start something new. Main image was Derwent Inktense. And yeah, that's it. I kind of like this little rainy type of background. I may have to try this again. I should really too sit down with my books and just write down what kind of backgrounds I have and maybe do you guys a backgrounds video. You'll have to let me know in the comments. I've already had a viewer say that they wanted to learn more about the background. So if you're interested in a video like this, you'll have to let me know in the comments. But yeah, just Derwent Inktense, and you can see there's not a lot of depth in the houses, so it's definitely an earlier works. And here's another one. Another earlier works. Some Arteza watercolor for the background. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's a Derwent Inktense base with some polychromos on top for sure. Some areas I don't even think I did pencil work in, so it may be mostly Derwent Inktense. But this one was cute. I really just love the palette and the way it turned out. And the way the watercolor fit the page was pretty nice. And another earlier works. I think I was testing out Neo colors with this background, as a matter of fact. And the blend wasn't very smooth. So this is definitely an earlier works. Neo color for the background, and it appears like it was polychromos. Maybe? It could have been Derwent Inktense base for the main image because I'm noticing some watermarks here. And yeah, I think it was Derwent Inktense actually. Neo Color 2 for the background and Derwent Inktense with some white gel pen and some glitter. Some pink glitter. It's still pretty though. This one I recently did was a buddy color in Fall with Hail. And it was my Autumn Stag. There's a lot of media in this page. So let me see. Background is Arteza watercolors. The stars are definitely acrylic. The trees, and I think a lot of the elements down here were based with Tombow. And then I went over top of it with polychromos. As a matter of fact, I think I may have started these leaves and then top coated them with Tombow. Which I think there's another viewer had requested a video on how to base with water-based markers. And if this is a video you're interested in, please let me know in the comments as well. I'm really leaning towards maybe doing this one in between the collection series and starting the paper test series. Now, the paper test series is going to kind of be like color alongs. They're kind of just going to fit in, you know, the schedule here and there whenever I go to do one. Because mainly it's just testing out and coloring in all the books that I haven't colored in yet. And a little bit of a color and chat sort of tutorial type of situation. And I'm throwing all my media at those pages to figure out which one, you know, fits best. So I really do think I'll probably just sprinkle those in here and there, and there'll be different episodes for each book. So yeah, if you're looking for a more tutorial-based type of video, let me know in the comments if you're wanting or interested in how to base and top coat with water-based markers. But yeah, so then I also use some Artex acrylic for the foliage down here, which I'm still playing with these too. A lot of times I use them for like covering lines or adding foliage, this sort of thing, maybe highlights and whatnot. But yeah, this one was cute. I think this here was the neon Prismacolor with some highlighter, as a matter of fact. And I don't know if you can see that, but it didn't come out very well in the picture for some reason. Whenever I have a video, I feel like the video comes out way better than the picture taken. The background, it's kind of like the sky at night when it's just starting to get dark out and you're losing the sun. It's right after sunset, and it's in between that, where that dark sky is starting to grip for the grounds. You know, this is what I was trying to portray in that background. I don't know how successful I was, but yeah, it was a really fun page. Yeah, let me see. These are sticking together because I have the most awful tabs. And, oh, look at this. Now, this was one of my all-time favorite bunny pages. Also, this was done in autumn. And yeah, the whole entire image was Derwent Inktense, and I think a little bit of polychromos on these leaves down here and on the bunny for the fur. But look at this bunny. It's so cute. I just, you know, every time I see this page, I just want to pick this bunny up and snuggle it. I've had some transfer from the other page, but other than that, the page still looks pretty decent. I really love the palette, Earthy Fall palette. And then over here, I think I based this one here with Albrecht Dürer and went over top with Prismacolor. I'm pretty sure it was Prismacolor because I'm looking at the leaf combination, and I think it looks like it's Prismacolor. So yeah, this one was cute too. I really love these black backgrounds. Sometimes they can just be sort of a palette cleanser. You know, with the black backgrounds, I don't really have to think too much. I have seen a couple of people take the black backgrounds and add stuff on top of them, so I'm definitely curious. I think I have a few saved, and I may have to try out that technique in the future. But for now, they're just really nice to kind of just, you know, color and then not worry about the background because it's filled in for you already. All right, next one here. Good thing I have this. For once, I have a page here so it doesn't transfer. This one here, I don't know what these quirky clouds were, guys. I don't know what I was trying to do. I think I was just trying to fill in the blank space in the background. They're a little quirky and cute. Well, I guess it fits a little bit, but background Arteza watercolor. Definitely some watercolor here with some white gouache for the top of the. I'm calling them quirky clouds, but I don't really know what they are. Main image was polychromos for sure. And yeah, the particles I think were probably most likely acrylic because I like to dab acrylic and then spread it with a water brush. I may have to do a video on that too. You'll have to let me know in the comments if that kind of video would interest you on how to do particles in pages. I remember there's so many different things that you could use for these particles. You can use gel pen, you can use acrylic, you can use pencil. So yes, I mean, depending on what you use and how you spread it, it could be, you know, but if you're interested in something like that, mention it down in the comments. Maybe I'll add it to my list of videos that I want to do. And let's see, next one here. Make sure this is proper so it doesn't transfer onto this cute bear. And this next one here is all Derwent Inktense, as a matter of fact. The whole entire image. I really liked this limited purple. I'm pretty sure I was inspired by Pauline. And yeah, with her pink and purple palettes. And I think the background was a stencil with acrylic paint, as a matter of fact. Another one I'll have to try again. These are fun backgrounds when you can just kind of go in with a color or two and then add a design on it. Sometimes they can be too busy. I don't know if this was the proper time to use this one though, because this main image was busy. You'll have to let me know what you think. But I really love this palette. It's a really kind of muted, dusky type purple. But yeah, in all, they're winning tints. I may have gone in with the tiniest little bit, now that I'm looking at it, the tiniest little bit of polychromo here in some of the shadow areas, maybe just to deepen the shadows a little bit, and that was it. I can still see because the texture from the Derwent ink tints is still there. So I definitely didn't do a lot of pencil work on top of this. All right. And these tabs, they're like sticky on both sides. I've reused these tabs too, guys, but these for some reason are still super sticky on both sides, and I'm going to have to get rid of them because they just keep sticking the pages together. All right, let me see here. This is definitely Albrecht Dürer, and I think I was trying to play around with some different colored particles, which I haven't really done much of that, but it's more of a confetti background just to kind of give the black background a little bump. But it's cute. You know, there's not a lot of pencil work at all, if any, as a matter of fact. Now that I'm looking, it's all Albrecht Dürer. So I could have probably gone in and added some shading or some more shadows, but, you know, sometimes I just want to sit down and color, you know, and I just want something relaxing, and I don't want to have to really think about all the technical that goes into making a page really dynamic. And this was probably just I sit down and color and fun type of page. You know, which is okay. Allow these pages to yourself sometimes. And here we go with this one is Arteza watercolors for the background. And definitely, as a matter of fact, I based this, I think, with Albrecht Dürer. And I went over it with polychromos. Not too much though, because again, I see a lot of the leaves still have the like type of watercolor texture to it that the page has without putting any pencil on top. So I'm pretty sure I just went in on the darker images, or I mean the darker parts here for the shadows. And I think I bumped up the tulips a little bit. And I think the rest of it is just really just Albrecht Dürer. Maybe these flowers has a little bit of pencil work in it, but that's about it. Yeah. And that concludes Nightfall. Next one is Flora. I have 4 pages in this one. Did I not do the... Wow, guys, I didn't do the title page on this one. That's unlike me. Here we go. This is another one of my all-time favorites. I really wanted to limit myself to just a couple of pencils. So sometimes, you know, I have a palette picked out, and yeah, I just want to, you know, instead of getting your light, your medium, your dark, your highlight, and your shadow colors, because typically that's what I'll use, at least minimum 5. I'll use my light, mid, dark, and then I'll add another really light or white or, you know, really dark or black type of shadow. And in this case, I wanted to challenge myself with all just a few pencils and see what kind of depth I can get with just a couple of pencils. So these were definitely polychromos. And the background was Albrecht Dürer, I think. It's quite smooth, so I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And yeah. So I went in with the gray on the leaves, and the flowers were the pink and the blue. So everything that's pink and blue on this page is all just the same couple of pencils. And I really just enjoyed this one. It challenged myself to kind of, you know, a lot of times with pinks, I'm going to grab like a dark pink or maybe a purple, but I used the blue instead. So some of the shadow is like really stark, but I don't know if it's something about the page. It came together really nicely. Really enjoyed this one. And next one. Here we go. This was a, one of these matchy type of spreads. And yeah, I really love the palette. And this one here, so definitely all of it was based on both sides with Albrecht Dürer in the same colors. And then over top with polychromos. For here, I wish I kind of would have done some more blue on this one. I feel like there was a lot of green, but I think it still turned out okay. And yeah, that's really about it for this one. This one was a really soft Albrecht Dürer background as well. And I just blended the two colors, and it's just, you know, overall just really basic and cute. It was, I remember it being really relaxing. And I don't do these matching pages, but I know a lot of people do. And I wanted to give them a try. And I think it turned out really good. And next one. See how the pages are sticking together because of these tabs, guys? I mean, come on, man. Horrible tags, never again. Yeah, so this looks like it was all polychromos. I may have used actually some Albrecht Dürer for the background. I like to use those two together a lot because the colors match up. So really, you can base with them and then use the same colors to add more depth and more shadows and this, that, and the other, and kind of really hone in your layers of color with that. It's a really good technique to just quickly base a page with those and then match the colors with the rest. So yeah, I think it was all polychromos for the illustration, and then the background was Albrecht Dürer. I don't even think I based this with Albrecht Dürer first. I think I just used it for the background, and then I went in with a little bit of pencil to kind of get some more depth behind the teapot. But yeah, this one was cute. I love this red and purple and green. It's a nice bright doors and trim here on the pot to kind of pop that out a little bit, but maybe a little bit of gray and white gel pen for the smoke. Yeah, that concludes that one. Only 4 in that. Next one is Botanicum at 8 pages. Gotta get some coffee here. These long videos, I really need some drink. So I did do a title page. Look at this. Did the title page for this one at least. And again, no name. But this was another one of those full Albrecht Dürer. Like really just relaxing type of pages. No pencil work. Maybe the tiniest little bit in here on the snail just for a little bit of shadow. But the rest of it was all Albrecht Dürer. And, you know, when I do that, it seems like it comes out really delicate and soft. So it's, you know, usually I go in and I add a lot of shadow and a lot of, you know, extra layers of color on top. But yeah, this one was another one of those relaxing pages. A few little pink particles. I think I need to practice that a little bit because I really like when there's some fun kind of confetti background going on. And next one, next 2. This one here, what a mess this one is. I did spray it too. So the background was a little bit of a mess. I did use a water-based medium for the background, and I'm starting to think it's Neo color because of the way it looks. But then for some reason, something didn't go proper, I think, and I went over top with some eyeshadow. And it did not, because I use eyeshadow in place of, if you haven't watched the first one, I use eyeshadow in place of pastels. And that'll come up in another video as well. I'm thinking about doing soon also all my supplies, like how I store them in the swatching system I have. If you're interested in that, stay tuned for that in the future. So yeah, the pastel, usually I replace with eyeshadow. And for some reason, I just didn't like the way the background. And I never went back and tried to really fix it. I think when you spray fixative on something, it just kind of, it's workable fixative too. So you're supposed to be able to work on top of it, but it changes the texture. Main image looks like, I am almost positive, Prismacolor. Maybe not. It could be polychromos. This one, guys, I don't remember. I would have to go back on IG, I think, and look. But the oranges look like polychromos. I may have gone in with some white Prismacolor, but I'm pretty sure it's white polychromos. Or pencil polychromos, yeah. This one here was all Derwent Inktense for the background. This is another one of my all-time favorites. I love teal and gold palettes. Mainly Derwent Inktense, like I said, and I could have probably gone in with a little bit of polychromos on top, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe if it is, it's the tiniest bit because I'm looking at the page and I don't see a lot of pencil texture. Maybe a little pencil texture in the peacock itself, maybe in here. But for the most part, I think it was mainly Derwent Inktense with light pencil work. But yeah, I really love this one. Let me see. Another favorite. I'm pretty sure I did this in fall. And there's a lot of warm up front. So I chose a blue background with Arteza watercolor. And again, polychromos, I'm pretty sure, for the main image. And for I really actually think it is because I'm starting to see some of the pencil work since it's an older one. I feel like sometimes depending on what the paper is, I always go, it changes. And you go back and you look after some months and you can see some of the white has come through. And I know for a fact that I've burnished a lot of this, but there's still a few instances where like the paper pores have like reappeared. And yeah, this needs another burnish, but I'm probably not going to do it. I'm too lazy for that. And I have so many books to color and I really wouldn't want to, go back and edit something when I could be coloring something new. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to look at the butterfly, and I think I may have based with Albrecht or some sort of water media. And again, I'm not 100% sure because this is one I don't know. I forget. I think it was Albrecht though. Albrecht and polychromos. I would have to double check Instagram, but it's a theme, guys. I usually use the same combination of things. It's either Derwent Inktense or Albrecht as a base or water-based markers. And then mainly polychromos, but sometimes when the paper calls for it, it's Prismacolor. And it's always going to be a Neocolor background or a watercolor background or a stencil background. Like, I use all the same stuff. I kind of don't really buy a lot. I'm a bit frugal in that way. Next one here. This is definitely an Albrecht and polychromos. I really love this palette. I don't think this a lot of people like this palette, but I really liked this fall palette. The purple and browns and the gray down here, and it was mainly like I said, Albrecht polychromos, and I think I used a little bit of Artex acrylic markers to cover a few lines and add some highlights, and that's it. I really love this one. And the cute little cat maybe has a little bit of too extra gel pen, but let me see. Next one. Got to be careful with these tabs because they're sticking. Here we go. This one here is definitely polychromos. Derwent Inktense base, I can tell by the colors and the cabbage here. Derwent Inktense base, polychromos on top, Neocolor for the background. And I kind of wanted a little sort of sunset background. I really like the way this one came out. I really love the way that Neocolor blends a lot of the times, especially if the paper's decent. And guys, this book, if you can notice this book, I've used a lot of water media in this book. And aside from this one, there's a little bit of crinkling, but after I'm done, I mean, here there's a little bit, but after I'm done, and both sides of this one here, sorry, I know I keep going and repeat myself a little bit, but both sides were watercolor. So there's a little bit of crinkling, and when I'm done, usually I just let it sit under some heavy books. I have my husband's Walking Dead compendium 1 through 3, and they're like really thick, heavy books. And I sit them, they're here, and I just sit them on top. And look like how smooth this one came out. So you can definitely use some water medium in these English editions, these NA editions. This one was all Prismacolor. I really love this one. I really love the palette. Just like some simple blues and greens. All Prismacolor, guys. Nothing else. Just all pencil in that one. Not too much else to say about that. And for the last one, what do we have? And another black background. This was all polychromos. I know these are never really scroll stoppers, but I love them. I don't know. Some people don't like the black backgrounds, but I may have to, I know I mentioned it earlier, use stuff like this that I've already colored and go in and try to add some things to a black background and kind of spruce it up. If I already have the page colored, I might as well go back in and see if I can experiment and mess around with that. All right, next one is Luna with 5 pages. Let's see. These are sticking again. Another title page. All Albrecht Dürer for the background. Maybe not. It could have been Arteza watercolors for the background, but either or. It looks like watercolors and not the actual pencil. Because a lot of times when I use the watercolor, you can kind of see a little bit of how that's done. So, yep, and here too, there's some extra watercolor here. Because I have watercolor tubes, so it's liquid when it comes out. I have a few pans. Again, I'll go in that with the whole supply thing. But moving on. All Albrecht Dürer, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a tiny bit. It looks like there's a tiny bit of pencil work. Not very much. It's just a simple title page. Very cute, relaxing palette. Here we go with these guys sticking again. Here's another one. This was definitely all Albrecht Dürer. No, sorry. Prismacolor. All Prismacolor. And the background was Albrecht Dürer. It's just another cute, relaxing image. Bunnies. I have a lot of bunny pages. An extreme amount of bunny pages. I think I recently did a bunny collection on Instagram. And I had originally, I think it was like 16 pages. But Instagram wouldn't let me put more than 10 because I was posting on desktop. And for some reason, it doesn't allow you to do more than 10 on desktop for whatever reason. But yeah, this was just cute, relaxing. Probably a spring or summery image. I really love this. Every time I open this book, I need to do this one soon because I really love that image. Here we go. Here's another one. I love these little just small kind of framed in scenes where, you know, you don't have to think too much about a background. You can either do a background or leave it be and the image is fine. But yeah, this is a Tombow base. They just float my boat, these little circle images. Tombow base for sure. And is that Prismacolor or Polychromos? I'm going to go ahead and say it's Polychromos because I usually grab for those the most. And Polychromos are better in smaller areas. If you know, you know. They keep a point so much better, guys. I just love them. Me and Prisma have a love-hate relationship. They crumble a lot. They leave, you know, dust everywhere. And even I use like a brush to like push the dust away, and it still leaves like streaks of the dust places. It's very messy. They break. They don't hold a point. I have to sharpen them all the time. I love that they are creamy, and that's why you have to sharpen them all the time, but it drives me crazy. If I have to sharpen them like every 5 minutes while I'm coloring, it's like a nuisance, if anything. But yeah, this one was another cute image. You know, just a Tombow base and some Prismacolor on top, or some Polychromos. Sorry, I did say that, Polychromos on top, and that was that. This is probably another spring image. Sorry if I linger on the pages too much, you know. Here we go. Here's another one I absolutely love, and I'm getting transfer. I'm going to have to go in and see if I can pop that off later on. I should really start putting stuff in between both. This was definitely a Derwent Inktense base, Polychromos on top, and Neocolor 2 background. I really love this one, as a matter of fact. I love the grass into sky gradient. I love the little particles from the butterfly. It just came out so cute. Another like fallish pattern. This one here was just very super limited. Like this is a limited, but this is like super limited. Just a couple of colors. And it looks like all Prismacolor, and I can already tell because all the white has turned bright pink. And it was a framed in pencil background. There's nothing crazy special about this, but I remember it being... It was tedious, but it wasn't too bad. I think I just went in and shaded with all one color and then the next, and it was, I think it was actually a pretty quick page. It's still cute though. The next one. So Shooting Star, that was Luna. Shooting Star, I have one in. I have the tab there. I'm looking forward to coloring in this book more because I really love all of the illustrations in here. I have not posted the one that I have in here, and I'm almost positive I have a color along for this one. But with the format change, so I'll address the color alongs for anyone that does them right now. Usually I would film them in full format, right? And there would be multiple parts because I'm slow. I use polychromos a lot. There's a lot of times there's a lot of layering. There's a lot of depth involved. So they're anywhere between, 2 and 4 parts. Then I started to film like a demo and skip version where it's all one video and it's usually around an hour to an hour and a half depending. And those seem to do better as far as viewing goes. My channel is still really small. So with the color alongs, I think I kind of stunted my growth because they don't get a lot of views unless people are following along. And it's real evergreen, right? And it takes time to get through the color alongs if you're following them. So I may have to go back and chop up the footage that I have and make a demo and skip format, but this takes time. It's a lot of editing work, so I haven't done it yet, so I don't want to post the page until the color along is ready. This way I can coincide them both. And Fairy Tale Worlds is next. I don't have anything colored in this yet, but I do have a buddy color plans in March for this one. Yep. So I'm really looking forward to that. So at least this will be untouched. Okay, so next we're going to go through some Kanoko Egusa. And for Kanoko fans, this is the Japanese version. I actually got this from Amazon Japan ages ago. And the coinciding English version is Garden of Fairy Tale Animals. So that's for that. And I have 6 in here done. I don't really remember the paper. It's been a while since I did a Kanoko image, and I think the reason for that being is I adore her images. I really do. I love her illustrations. But a lot of times I look at them as if they were so beautiful that I don't want to mess them up. And I know that a lot of you guys can relate to that. And I know I've probably said it before in completed pages or other collection type videos or tags or whatever, but that's really the case. Like, I love her illustration style. This one here was definitely a Derwent Inktense background. And as you can see, it seems like it deals with water okay. These Japanese versions, I didn't have, I think, any bleed through. I always use minimum water, unless I'm doing a wet on wet, but I make sure that the paper is good before I do a wet on wet. And yeah, like no buckling, no crinkling, no nothing, and just with leaving it under some heavy books, it's like nice and straight, Definitely polychromos on top, maybe a little bit of Tombow work. And yeah, that's it. I just, nice little title page. I just love this one. I'm pretty sure I did it for like a beginning of fall type of thing. Let me see. Here's the next one. This is a really early on work. You could tell that I had started to kind of get a little bit more skilled as far as coloring goes, but my backgrounds were a mess, right? So I didn't want to fill in this whole background because back before I had gotten a lot of water media and I had a few pencil backgrounds, I didn't really know what to do. I just didn't want to do a whole pencil background. It's too much for me. It takes way too much time. I'm way too impatient. So I took a stencil or maybe a ruler and I wanted to do something different and lazy at the same time and denote that this was like the sky. And then denote that this was the grass, right? And then I have little flowers in here. I don't know. I thought it was cute, but it looks a little corny actually. But, still the main image of the buddy was, I don't know what's up with these eyes either. He looks like he's scared, something fierce. And if you hear my tummy rumbling, it's almost lunchtime. So, sorry about that. But yeah, this is still cute. I still like it. Here is another earlier image. This one was for Halloween and limited palette. And I'm pretty sure it was all Prismacolor. Yep. I was inspired by some Guild Wars 2 Halloween weapons that have this sort of palette. It's like a purplish, bluish type of, anyway, I was inspired by that, and what not better to go with purple than gold, right? I was, sometimes I feel like I want to come in and add a background, but it's so cute. The cat came out so cute. The fur pattern came out so cute. So for you cat lovers, you'll have to let me know in the comments what you thought about that one. Let me see. Tabs, Crystal. Tabs. Here is another autumn-inspired page. This was definitely all polychromos. I'm pretty sure I may have used an Albrecht d'Or for the background and then went in with some pencil as well. Yep, this was like one of these clocks. I tried to kind of do this pattern. If you've ever seen like one of those metal dishes that have those indents in it, that pattern where it's got the indents, I was trying to do something like that. Came out okay. But yeah, this one was really just, a fall inspired. I really like how the animals came out, their fur and everything. Cute image. Next one here. Here we go. This one, another one that was cute. So we have Derwent Inktense, 100% sure for that. You can tell in the background it's water media. I'm pretty sure I based a few elements with Derwent Inktense and then went in with polychromos. And yeah, this one was just one of those like start of spring pages probably. Very cute. I could tell there's like some water texture in there and then a little pencil texture on top. So definitely based with Derwent Inktense and then back in with polychromos. It's cute. I love this one. But I like the way the deer came out. I wasn't sure how this came out, but I wanted to have some sort of depth, like the depth on the cheek here, to see that the cheek was popping out a little bit further than, the snout, but it looks a little bit awkward, but overall, I like the way that this one is still. And last one for this book is the back page. I think I was experimenting. I always use the back pages for experiments. This one was definitely Tombow. And I don't think I put the Tombow on the page directly. I think I just pulled it off the palette, but I may have. As a matter of fact, I think I did. I think I colored it in directly with the Tombow and then went in with a water brush. I think it's one of those type of papers that you can actually move, but I would have to double check. Again, I need to take notes with this sort of thing, and that's where the paper test series has come, has been inspired by. It's like, we have all these coloring books. They all have different paper. We all have these different supplies, and I just really want to take notes on each one and have, some like a set journal or something somewhere that has all the books, all the paper, all their media and what they work best. This way I don't have to, especially books like this where I haven't visited these books in quite some months. You forget. If it's not written down, you forget. Life is too busy to keep all that information in your brain. All right, so the next one is Menuet de Bonheur. I think I butchered that. And let me see. The English version is Kingdom of Curious Creatures. I wonder how that English edition, because like I said, I got these from Japan Amazon. If you guys have the English edition, let me know in the comments what kind of media works good in those English ones. I'm curious. And it looks like I didn't do a title page here for this one. Is there she doesn't actually put name pages in. This is cute though. Let me see. First one. I only have 2 pages done in this book. Here we go. I think this one was one of those, again, some water-based marker for the background, and I just mushed it. Either that or it was watercolor. Pretty sure it was a marker of sort, because I can tell by the way the flowers are, they weren't really smooth as far as the water media. And when you're using like a Derwent Inktense or an Albrecht d'Or, you can kind of move them about a bit. And yeah, I think this was definitely a marker base. And polychromos on top. And that's it. Another older image. I'm still quite happy with this one. It's, cute colors. I don't know why I always choose like a gray or neutral color for my animals. I never go crazy and colorful with my animals for whatever reason. And here's here's another older one. And I'm still quite happy with this one too, as a matter of fact. And it was all water-based marker. And I went in with a water brush. And you can really tell because it leaves like a watercolor type of I don't know, pattern or texture in the back. I guess I filled this in, you know, to denote that there was some greenery. Not a lot of depth with that, but I like the way that came out. I don't know about the colors for the middle. I think I may have done some pencil work up here, but that's it. Maybe some pencil work on the clothes, but you can tell his jacket here is very, you know, watercolor. So yeah, this was definitely a water-based marker and just a water brush. These two are so cute. I love her dress. I put a little sunflower pattern on, little flower pattern on her dress, I guess. All right, next one. So this is the Symphony of Cute Animals English edition that I have not colored in yet. And I am pretty sure this is going to be episode 1, guys, of our, I say we and our because really I wouldn't be doing this stuff unless you guys were here to watch it. So it's a we and a us. My friend Hale, she's been definitely, I think, wanting to color in this. And I've been wanting to color in this. So I think this is going to be my first episode of my paper test to figure out what media goes in this book. Because they can't just, they're just too cute, guys. They cannot just sit on the shelf, you know, and rot. So if you've colored in this book already and it's the English version, give me a shout in the comments and give me a little heads up into what does work well in these books. But, you know, I'll end up throwing everything at the page and figuring it out as well. Because we all have different styles in coloring too. So that kind of goes into it. But, yeah. All right, so moving on to Kerby Rosanes. What do we have? Kerby Rosanes. You know, not a lot, as a matter of fact. I think I never really got used to his line art. But yeah, Anamorphia's got 3. Imagimorphia's got 4. Mythomorphia's got 6. I guess I really liked Mythomorphia. Geomorphia's got 1, but I haven't posted it yet. And there's a color along that goes with that. So I have to figure something out with that before I post it. And Alien World's 1. Then I don't have anything in Mythic or Fragile World just yet. I really, you know, the thing with Kerby Rosanes is I really love his artwork. But unlike Hannah Carlson, where I have so many pages done, I haven't really practiced his artwork a lot. So I'm not as comfortable coloring it. Even his earlier work, I got a little bit more comfortable with his earlier work versus his later work. But still, in general, I don't know how to go about his pages. So I don't tend to gravitate towards them as much as I love his illustrations. We'll have to fix that too in the long run. Title page, of course, or name page. And I think I just wanted to do an icy palette with this one. I really love how it came out. It's definitely polychromos and some sort of, you know, I'm looking at it in the background and it looks like either Neocolor or the budget version of Neocolor, the Reeves crayons. But yeah, I think it was polychromos and Neocolor for the background. Nice icy image. Blue's my favorite color, so. See, next one. Now, I actually really adored the way these came out. So, you would think that these would motivate me to color in his books a little bit more. This one here was watercolor for the background, Arteza watercolor, and polychromos for the main image. I may have based lightly with some Tombow or something, but yeah, definitely polychromos for the main image and Arteza watercolor for the back. I think this one was an earlier works because I can always tell with how much like product that is on the background. Excuse me, guys, I need more coffee. Yeah, so anyway, back to the page. I can definitely tell that it was an earlier works because there's a lot of product on the page and it's not exactly smoothed out, but I like the darkness on the out and, you know, where it gets brighter in the middle. Definitely looks like the kind of denotes that the bird, the galaxy bird here is a light source. And yeah, this was definitely Neocolor in the background, too much of it, and almost positive polychromos. And maybe some glitter. Maybe some glitter. A little bit of glitter. Not too much. I really liked another purple and green, but this time the green is really not as dominant. But purple and green palettes, they're growing on me. along with the brown and blue. All right, so Mythomorphia. Imagimorphia. Four pages. And this is definitely one that I colored a lot in early on. Well, not a lot, but I colored in earlier on in my journey. And I think this is actually the first page that I posted on Instagram. And yeah, it's like a mess color-wise. Looks like I went in with some Derwent Intense as a base and went over top with some pencil in certain areas, but not a lot. And it's very colorful. But not colorful at the same time. Like, everything is really not vibrant, and yeah. There's no vividness to the page, but, you know, that's, you know, you improve as time goes by. A little bit of sparkle gel pen, it looks like, in a few areas. All right. I have tabs for a reason. This one I actually really adored. Another earlier works. Eyeshadow, or I should say pastel, aka eyeshadow, for the background. And I really like, actually, how the blend came out. And I think this is when I was practicing the blend. I think I was proud back then of how the blend came out with that. But I really just love to use eyeshadow. You know, it's got its own shimmer to it. It blends real nice. Maybe I'll include some pastel backgrounds in that video. The main image was Derwent Intense, and I definitely went over top with Polychromos. And, you know, I could always tell when it's an earlier works because there's not as much color and layers. There's some glitter. I think I probably did this for like an October or maybe like a Halloween type of page. But yeah, it's still cute. I still like it. I like the palette. It's fall. It's Halloweeny at the same time. Little glitter in his teeth here. I don't know why it's a he, but... And next one. This is definitely another earlier works. Watercolors for the background and for the main image. Now, the background seemed like it came out all right, but I feel like it's way too one-toned. You know, even though that there's a little bit of variation, there's not a lot. It's pretty solid. And I'm pretty sure I used too much, like, base. I'm pretty sure it was a watercolor base because it's shiny. And it's another one of those where it was, like, too much product. And I may have gone in with some pencils here and there, but not too much. Yeah. Next one. And, oh, I don't even think I posted this one, guys. You know, I love it and hate it at the same time. I think it was one of these, like, muted, all-one kind of color type of challenge. And the background was a shimmer. Hopefully that comes up on camera. It's like a shimmery background. Yeah. So I like it and I hate it. Okay. Definitely did this with pencil. And I can really appreciate the color palette. And I may need to do this color palette again. But I don't know. You know, obviously it's an old work. So maybe I'm not too happy with it with that. Or maybe it's the way that the background reacted. I'm almost positive the background was, again, the eyeshadow. And then over top with some of the shimmer watercolor. And I don't think it reacted very well together. And that's why it looks kind of blotchy. And I'm pretty sure that's what ruined the page for me. But yeah, I still like it though. I want to do this palette again. It's a very neat kind of like sepia or a vintage type palette. All right, next one. Okay, now we're in Mythomorphia with the 6 pages. This is the one I've colored in the most. And I'm pretty sure that this book is falling apart on me, so you'll have to bear with me with this one. And let me see. First one here. Yep, here we go. You know, I really liked this one. I don't know why, but it's so basic, though. You know, there's not a lot of... It's very busy. And a lot of times your eyes don't really know in pages like this where your eyes don't really know where to go, right? So it's just one of those type pages I think that aren't, you know, overly liked anyway. A lot of gel pen for the waterfall, I guess. And I think some acrylic down here. This is before I got acrylic markers because this one was super old. I think I used actual acrylic to add some foliage in and some depth here. Tombow base, because there's way too many rocks. And then probably some pencil work for some of the stones and shadows, and then on the trees. But I still like this one. This one I really like. It was definitely fall inspired for sure. I think it was Prismacolor for the main image and then acrylic paint for the background. And I really just liked the way that this background came out. It's starting to, something's going on and stuff's starting to stick to it, but you know, it's an acrylic. So some of the line work from the opposite page, even though nothing's transferred, I feel like some of the line work from the opposite page has gone on it, but I think I can just go back and erase it since it's an acrylic. But I really liked how the blend came out. And these are dollar store paints too for this background. And yeah, I just wanted to, you know, do like a sunset sky and, you know, add a little bit of cool in there. There's a lot of warm. This is like one of those things where, you know, the color balance I think is off because there's a lot of warm colors and not enough cool colors. But I still like it. I still like the way it came out. All right, now this is where the book starts to fall apart for some reason. This was a very early on works, and I still don't know how to think about it. There was a lot of mess with this page, and I think I based with Derwent Inktense, and definitely went in with some water-based marker. Did some stippling in the background. I think I didn't like the way the background came out. And I went in just to kind of hide it and, you know, did a little stippling pattern. But I probably should have gone in and done something with these black webs. Because once it gets here, it kind of gets lost. I'm pretty sure I was inspired by Pauline again with her pink and purple palettes. And there was a lot of bleed through on this. Because I think I threw a lot of water at it. And it was earlier on, so I was inexperienced. But I'm pretty sure I could, if I go to do this page, which this one doesn't look like to be a page I would probably do, I would probably go back in with a similar palette and just cover all this up and fix it. I'm not too concerned sometimes with bleed through because I know I can just probably cover it over in the next go. All right, so here we go. If you guys hear my stomach again, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the camera's not picking that up, but if I get a little distracted, it's because my stomach is growling and it's distracting. All right. So here we go with this one. This was another Halloween palette. All Prismacolor. Black acrylic paint for the background. And some kind of sparkle pen at different places. But yeah, another earlier works. I'm actually happy. It was like, you know, it was a Halloween palette, so there's not much to say about the palette, but like the way the clouds came out. It looks like I was trying to use, inexperienced me was trying to get some glow out of that eye, but it didn't come out as well. Still pretty neat page. All right, let me see, trying to get this flipped without it all coming apart on me. Here, yep, here's another one. So these pages here, both of these pages were inspired by Guild Wars. So we have, in Guild Wars, we have Harpies, and we have Crate, is what they call, and they're called Toxic Crate. So anyway, with this one, I went warm, and of course, my blue and brown and orange kind of starting to come out to play a little bit, but this is definitely an earlier works where I had Arteza watercolors for the background, and it looks like polychromos for the tree. I think I may have based a few items with some sort of water media, but I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it's a lot of maybe polychromos and maybe some fine liner. And yeah, that's that. I still like the way this one came out. Same thing with this one. So we have Toxic Crate in Guild Wars 2, and they're kind of this like muddy green color. So for anybody looking at it, they were like, oh, that's probably not the best color to pick, but this was inspired by, you know, video game stuff. So the color is pretty on point. Although they're kind of, I don't know, highlight elements are a bit more glowy in nature. It's like a really neon glowy green. So I wish I could have, you know, portrayed that in this, but I didn't manage to do that. But if it's an earlier work, I can't be too hard on myself. I have a little bit of trying to glow in the eyes, and it's the same thing. I think it's Arteza watercolors for the background and polychromos for the main image. But overall, I still like it. And yeah, I think that's it. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so the next one is Geomorphia. And like I said, I have a page colored in this, but there's a color along that goes with that, and I don't want to show it until the page is posted and the color along is ready for that. Next one is Alien Worlds, and this was a buddy color with Amanda. And yeah, I covered this. If you see in my, what was it? I think it was January completed pages. Yep, January completed pages. You'll see I explain, her version and all of that's in there. So if you're interested, please go back and watch January's completed pages and have a look at Amanda's version. It was neat. Yep. So let me see. Neo color for the background. And the main image here was based with Derwent Inktense. And then I went over with some polychromos. I have not. This was like the first page colored in this book. And it's aliens, right? So I haven't done a lot of it. And I'm still, as you can see, I don't have a lot colored from him overall. So I'm still trying to get used to his line art. And especially his newer line art. But I really like the way it came out. I like the palette. I like the way the background came out. I really like the way these fish came out. There's a lot of depth in the image as well. There was a little bit of bleed through on, I don't even know if the camera picks it up on here. And I also explained it in my completed pages. But if you have this book and you haven't colored in it yet, if you're going to go do watercolor backgrounds, for some reason the Derwent Inktense came out okay. There was no bleed through. But with the Neo color, when I went to go, I started with the dark green, and I would try and pull it into the white. And when I went to go try to pull it into the white, this happened, where there was a couple of spots where just the tiniest little bit came through. And I really think the binding from either the pencils or the crayons help protect the page. So if you're going to do any kind of water medium, make sure you cover a whole area with the water medium before you go and add water, and use just a little bit. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this page. So the next one is Mythic World. I don't have anything colored in this yet. I like to, there's a lot in here that I like, and I like to collect books from artists that I have, but there's still a few that I haven't colored in, and like I said, with Kerby's work, I love to look at his stuff, but I just don't know how to go about coloring it. So I'm hoping to change that soon. And the next one is Fragile World. I don't have any pages colored in it. I have tabs here because I'm going to do another buddy color with Amanda, our second Kerby. And this was the pages that I had picked out. And I think we're going to do another buddy color in April for this page. So this will, we haven't picked yet, but this will be, I'll have this book colored in soon. And that concludes today's collection video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, I really appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.